On this week's episode, will the crimes of Grindelwald keep the Harry Potter fans happy this weekend? Is Battlefield 5 ready to take the next step? And we remember the legacy of Stan Lee. All this and more as we reach our next stop, the PCC Multiverse. And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford from Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to everything that we put out there. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without the man with the hat himself. He is the ultimate in Kings fan. It is our good friend that's in charge of Humanica Media. You got to check out everything that's going on today at humanicamedia.com, Humanica Media on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and so much more. It is my good friend wearing a Hopes Fall t-shirt out there. It is Josh Peterson. What's going on, man?
What up? Special shout out. Also, I've been meaning to say this. Our friends over at Keys have they put out a post this week. I don't know if you saw, but they are disbanding. So if you guys get a chance, definitely go check out some of their music, show them some love, let them know that the world will be a darker place without their music.
That's a very tragic sign indeed. Looks like the music industry has unfortunately hit another chord, pardon the pun, with another group with deciding to go ahead and call it quits. Truly sad to hear that happen. Hopefully you get a chance to check out their music to honor them, to remember their spirit, and to remember the great music that they put on out there. But it is going to be a great episode, we have for you. We've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. He's going to be breaking down week 12 in the NFL. Also as well, we've got Rob McCallum in the middle of the Cosmic Crossfire. Always a great time talking pop culture with him. And a lot of stuff we're going to be covering, including Battlefield 5, which is due out right about now as this show hits. And of course, also as well, we've got to remember the legacy of a comic book and pop culture icon in Stan Lee. And we will do that at the back end of the show. But first, my friend, it's hitting theaters finally this weekend. It is the next step in the evolution of the Harry Potter franchise. It is Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. I know a lot of people are excited for it. It's targeting right about $70 million domestically here in the box office and about $250 million worldwide. It might even do better than that. Might even garner close to $100 million if it has enough momentum behind it. Your thoughts on The Crimes of Grindelwald? Unfortunately, though, with the reviews that are out there, they're decidedly mixed, with a lot of negative reviews out there in total for The Crimes of Grindelwald, unfortunately. In fact, just looking over a couple just before showtime, one even says it is the new worst Harry Potter related movie that's out there in the series. A lot of poignancy as far as Johnny Depp's performance, which I think has been a target from the get-go in regards to his character. Not too much said about Jude Law and his side of things, but also as well, Newt, when it comes to his character, is he going to be that coward that's sniffering and not being able to do it, or is he going to be that magician that stands up, or is he going to be that wizard that stands up to the face of evil? I guess critics are not liking that extreme dichotomy between the two types of personalities that he has during the film. Your thoughts on Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald? Is this something still that you think can touch the heart of Harry Potter fans everywhere, or is this something that eventually it's going to be something that Harry Potter fans have to see just to check it off their list, and it's not going to really extend beyond a Harry Potter fandom as far as collecting that larger, more mass media audience?
Well, okay, so like I was telling you before this, I haven't read any of the reviews, so I don't know what specifically is being said. And Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, like that. This franchise has kind of seemed like a mess from the beginning, right? Because you want to tell a story of Newt Scamander, but they also wanted to bring like a big bad. Because and we've discussed this, like every franchise that goes beyond two movies needs to have some kind of big bad to propel a story, right? So, um, with this, it's and they even warned us, that it's going to and a lot of people are like too much crimes, not enough monsters, but they warned us, they said the series can't always revolve around Newt because they wanted to tell a bigger story. So, and I was discussing this with someone the other day, and whether or not these movies are good, like I just love the idea of being able to return to that world. It's the same reason like I can go to Universal Studios and ride the Harry Potter rides over and over again, and it's not necessarily because the ride is like fantastic. It's just the idea of going back to that world and being in that world. And I know I was reading something that it's the movie's tracking for like a $250 million opening or something like that, but
Worldwide, yes, it is.
worldwide, yeah. But we're nothing's ever going to surpass the original Harry Potter movies. So we need to stop holding the flame to that, because this is a series of movies about lesser known characters in that universe that they're trying to shed more light on. We're getting more, people should just be grateful for that. And chances are I might see them I can see the movie and be singing a different tune come next week, but for now I love the idea of being able to go back and see all the stuff that was referred to in the Harry Potter books, and uh not necessarily have to invest hours and hours into reading a book about it.
And the $250 million worldwide projected that's out there actually would be kind of soft for a Harry Potter flick in its first weekend, or a Harry Potter related flick, I should say. It's kind of soft, comparatively speaking, to other releases within the Harry Potter world. But you're right. When you go to Universal Studios, you just love riding those Harry Potter rides, because just getting back into that world. I know my girls, all three of them, they just go ahead and they love going ahead on that ride time and time and time again. We go back there to Universal Studios just for those type of rides, because of the fact it takes you back into the world of Harry Potter, the mythos, the entire atmosphere and universe. And just to get back into it again is kind of cool. I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I've told you that before, and I've at points in time got a lot of disdain when it comes to members of my family for it. But I will say I do have a respect and appreciation for it, as far as the success, as far as what it does to enhance people's lives, what it does to bring their spirits up, what it does to go ahead and just fascinate them as far as everything that goes on in the world of Harry Potter. So I'm just happy as well that Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald is coming out to theaters, because it does extend that universe even more. I have actually grown fonder of the Fantastic Beasts side of things than the actual Harry Potter sides of things, because I like the first Fantastic Beasts a lot, and I'm hopeful that I can go ahead and set aside the negative reviews that are out there in regards to Crimes of Grindelwald, and actually see it for myself this weekend, and like it for what it is, and appreciate it for what it is, and see if it does continue those relationships, it does continue the characters in a acceptable way. And this is not going to be the last Fantastic Beast movie. I believe you mentioned before that it was 5 Fantastic Beast movies that are scheduled at this point in time.
Yeah, so they're gonna do 5, and then a while back, reports came out that Warner Brothers had actually purchased the movie rights to the Cursed Child. So I guess if the reports are to be believed, they're gonna do these 5 Fantastic Beast films, and then at that point, they're maybe gonna put a bow on the Harry Potter franchise with a trilogy of movies revolving around the Cursed Child, because all the actors will be old enough to play their characters in the Cursed Child at that point.
I would just love to see, Harry Potter coming out of the minivan, soccer dad just coming out there, whipping out, out of his jacket, out of his members only jacket, let's say, whipping out that wand and going ahead and doing battle against whatever evil. That would be cool, like a middle-aged Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron and coming out there. That would be actually, to me, I was talking about this with my family, and they were thinking I'm really weird that I actually take great pleasure in seeing a middle-aged version of that, as opposed to more what I've seen in the past from all the Harry Potter movies I've watched. So it's kind of funny how that has evolved. But yes, I would like to see something derived from the Cursed Child and continuing on with the Fantastic Beasts movies. Let's hope everyone out there does get a chance to appreciate it for what it's worth. We've already seen movies like Venom. Yes, exactly. So at some point in time, Josh has mentioned that that's hard to believe that Harry Potter, with all that's gone on, would be able to have a domesticated, normal life. So yeah, that's the idea. I'm sure with the Cursed Child is that those evils and that's dark spirits would actually come back to haunt him at some point in time, and his life could never truly rest easy. But to me, I just enjoy the Fantastic Beast side of things so far. I think it's done a pretty good job of accentuated, and I like to see going forward where this set of Harry Potter lore, this part of the Harry Potter lore continue. I'm just excited for that venture. Let me ask you this, with all that's gone on in regards to the Fantastic Beasts and also what you said is upcoming with the Fantastic Beasts movie and also Harry Potter the Cursed Child. I know the Harry Potter the Cursed Child has not gotten as much love from the fans as far as the Harry Potter fans that are out there. What are your thoughts on the Cursed Child becoming something more and becoming that trilogy of movies that you think will close out the Harry Potter saga properly and in an awesome fashion?
Well, okay, so one, they would have to not they could use the title and maybe loosely base it on the play, but there's not enough material in there to make 3 movies. There's barely, if you look at it, there's barely enough in there for 1 movie. And it's not a story that I feel like would translate well into a film. So, uh, obviously, if they're gonna make 3 movies out of it, there's gonna be a lot of rewrites. There's gonna be, 'cause in the I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but in the Cursed Child, it's obviously like Voldemort is still like he's gonna return or whatever, but they need something else because we've been through that already. So there would have to be some pretty massive rewrites to have something like that appeal to people.
I I agree with you on that. It would have to have some sort of commercial appeal, and I think it would obviously come from the three main characters within the Harry Potter realm in Ron, Hermione, and of course Harry Potter himself coming back as far as, like you said, with a new threat of evil still ready to go ahead and strike against Harry Potter and his friends. So I could see that happening, but you're right. They would have to create something so much more than what I've heard has gone on with the Cursed Child. And you can only get so much from that because it's not like it's a full extended edition of the Harry Potter saga. So basically, you'd have to go ahead and extrapolate whatever you could and try to expand it from there. But with Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, it looks like it's still going to do pretty good. But I think when it comes to a $250 million worldwide opening, that's kind of subdued for the Harry Potter series. But again, just because of the mixed reviews does not mean like it's a death knell for the movie itself. I still think it'll be one of the top movies this winter. We've had movies in the recent past when it comes to movies like Venom and also, let's see. When it comes to Venom, The Nun, The Grinch, Bohemian Rhapsody, all those movies have not gotten the highest of reviews, but they've all seemed to do very well at the box office in recent weeks. So, with that, I think that there is a good chance that people just want to go ahead and see an event movie, and Fantastic Beasts, Crimes of Grindelwald, for many, may just fit the bill.
And also, one more closing thought on that. When is the last time you saw a franchise related movie get good reviews from people, like unanimously agreed that it was a good movie?
Kind of hard to think about that because obviously we know what happened with The Last Jedi, and we won't go there again because that would lead to another half-hour discussion.
Right. And even Jurassic Park, though, like you had people who are like, "Oh, it's so good," but like those were the kids who didn't have
I would say only the Marvel movies, Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War, which will be on somewhere very high up on our top 10 list this year.
Yeah, but I mean, like there's nothing like there's always an audience that is gonna hate something, and especially in this critic culture that we're currently living in. So it's tough, and I commend anyone willing to make a movie, especially a big budget movie in this time and space we're currently living in.
Yes, it does take a lot of guts to go ahead and produce a 100, 150, 250 million dollar film. And of course, with everything that's out there, when it comes to especially what's going on this weekend with Crimes of Grindelwald, let's hope that Fantastic Beasts, let's hope the Fantastic Beasts saga continues in a grand fashion when Crimes of Grindelwald hits theaters this weekend. What are your thoughts out there on Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald? Have you already caught the movie already? Or is it something you're looking forward to do? Is it something you're looking forward to seeing this weekend? Do you think it will properly extend the Harry Potter saga even more? Are you excited for all the other Fantastic Beasts and possibly the trilogy for The Cursed Child coming up after that? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Also, as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanity Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Well, my friend, before we head to the break, we got to mention as far as everything that's going on with Pop Culture Cosmos. Obviously, we've got the Retro City Games game night that's coming up on December 15th. All the proceeds, whether it's food, toys, or monetary, they're going to be going to 3 Square of Las Vegas, the UMC Children's Hospital, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. All 3 great causes. Hopefully anybody in the Las Vegas and Henderson area will be able to attend. That's December 15th from noon to 8 p.m. Right now we're scheduled to do tournaments with Fortnite, Smash Brothers. Also, as well, we're going to be doing a Call of Duty Black Ops 4 tournament with some buy-ins. Got to check out the Retro City Games Facebook page for that. Got a lot of good music acts as well. Who is coming again from California just for the event?
We got me and Big Dog and Denial, so-called nice guy from Topocalypse, and you also have Hyper Schmidt and True Dye making an appearance.
Possibly even Plasma Z as well. He's not 100% certain, so that's hopeful he can attend. Veris is a heavy metal artist that loves to go ahead and do video game covers and just does a great job in doing so. Hopefully I can get him on to go ahead at some point in time, interview with me so we can plug the event coming up in some point in the near future. Definitely looking forward to definitely looking forward to the event as a whole. There's going to be music, like I said. There's going to be video games. There's also free retro gaming. There's possibly even doing a raffle as well. We're looking forward to doing that. Need more sponsors out there. So if you're interested in helping out with the event, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Could use all the support we can to build some more great prizes for people out there and participants to make it more attractive for hopefully a lot of people that want to go ahead and be part of the event. But we're going to be doing, like I said, a Fortnite tournament, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 tournament, Super Smash. We said Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, but we may change that because of the fact the availability of that game, because it's going to just be coming out, and we're not sure if we're going to be able to get our hands on enough Switches and enough copies of the game at that point in time. So we're going to decide whether or not we are going to change it to one of the older versions of Super Smash, which is still extremely popular here coming up in the near future. We'll let you know for certain on that. But yes, for all the info, and if you want to go ahead and find more information about it, just check it out on the Retro City Games Facebook page. We truly appreciate it. Or if you're in the Las Vegas and Henderson area, just go sign up today. Go down to Retro City Games. There's a $10 fee, like I said, or there's a $10 buy-in, or if you want to go ahead and similar value canned food or toy donation, just drop it off right there, sign up. Or if you can't make the 15th, but you still want to go ahead and donate either money, food, or toys, just go ahead and stop by Retro City Games in Henderson as well. Just cannot thank you enough for doing so, and hope to see you in December 15th. Just glad to have you a part of it, and hopefully you'll get to be able to have, hopefully you'll be able to hopefully you'll be able to be a part of something special on December 15th. Also, we've got a lot of stuff going on for popculturecosmos.com, our brand new website, including my preview of Black Friday coming up here in the next few days. Josh, are you working on anything for the new site, popculturecosmos.com?
Yes, so I'll finally have some time next week to sit down and finish my Tomb Raider review. I got a Daredevil review and hopefully an Assassin's Creed review coming out for you guys.
Sounds good, my friend. Again, you'll be able to catch all that. Plus, our top 200 game list is already available. All of our listings for our podcasts are there as well. Even more articles, reviews, tons of stuff are already there, and it's at popculturecosmos.com. Coming up next, we've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. Coming up next, we've got Rob McCallum from the Cosmic. Coming up next, we've got Rob McCallum in the middle of the Cosmic Crossfire. Then after that, we've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. Then after that, we've got Rob McCallum in the middle of the Cosmic Crossfire. Right now, I don't know which thing we're going to be doing.
Oh man, you just throw it all out there.
I'm just doing that for post purposes, so I don't know which one I'm going to throw in first.
Cover all your bases, man.
There you go. But right in the middle, we're also going to be talking about Battlefield 5, and on the back end, we're going to be also talking about the legacy of Stan Lee and how important he was to pop culture. Unfortunately, he did pass away this week at the age of 95, and we're going to discuss his legacy at the back end of the show. This is the PCC Multiverse. My friend, just want to let everybody know out there, you can catch our shows 7 days a week worldwide on over 15 different radio stations out there. For a listing of them, you just got to check out our Pop Culture Cosmos Facebook page. You can also catch there a listing of many of the over 30 different podcast networks that we're at. So hopefully if you get a chance, you check that out. And you can also check out the latest news and trends of pop culture while you're there as well. I know you've got a great thing going on with Humanica Media, my friend. So let everybody know out there what is going on with your great experience known as Humanica Media.
All right. We got a new Topicocalypse going up here soon. Next week, there'll be another one. And then the content will probably kind of slow down until after Thanksgiving here. But yeah, definitely check that out. We appreciate all the support. And please, you can also find Topicocalypse on www.popculturecosmos.com.
Yeah, did you guys do the one on Tuesday?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a yeah, dude, that was a mess, man. I was gonna call you up, but I was like, these guys are far too inebriated to have a functional podcast, so I don't want to waste Gerald's time.
Fair enough.
We did touch briefly on some Black Friday deals, so we'll get that up.
All right, fair enough indeed. My friend, I know you are very aware of what came out this week in video games. We talked at length on our last show, the Pop Culture Cosmos show, on Fallout 76 and the kind of mixed reaction people are getting from all over the place that you're getting as well when it comes to Fallout 76. This is the actual biggest weekend, the biggest week in video games, because not only one, but two AAA franchises have now been released as far as big games into the universe that's out there, because Battlefield 5 is now out in the wild. EA brings out this extended version of the continuing saga in the Battlefield universe. Your thoughts on that? But it was just so funny that Battlefield 5 did all it could to be away from Call of Duty, because initially it was going to be released on the same week as Call of Duty, but now it's actually being released on the same week as Fallout. So it doesn't make any sense to me what EA is doing, but The actual reviews are also fair, pretty good, but not great when it comes to what Battlefield 5 needs to do. Your thoughts on Battlefield 5? Is it going to have is it going to capture the attention out there of everyone that's playing games out there and be able to finally surpass the shadow known as Call of Duty?
It's definitely got a lot of pressure on its shoulders, and as such things that do have a lot of pressure on their shoulders to succeed, it's going to have some pretty hardcore trolls out there looking to destroy its hopes and dreams. So you're always going to deal with stuff like that. But the main complaint I'm reading about it is that it's glitchy, and EA has this weird, unhealthy obsession with that Frostbite engine. And until they learn to fix whatever it is that's wrong with the Frostbite engine, like it hasn't been a good development engine for them. Just because look, you had the issues with Mass Effect, and then I know there's something else after that, but it's not. I'm not thinking of it right now. But they don't have all their stuff ironed out, and they're forcing their devs to use this, and it's not. It sounds like there's some issues that still need to be worked out, and I notice a lot of these games are having this issue too. Like they're trying to put more and more on the screen to give it that realism, and it ends up not doing what it's supposed to. Like I'm getting into the last bits of Assassin's Creed Odyssey right now, and there's so much happening that the game bogs down or it'll just shut itself off at some moment. So this is definitely an issue, and hopefully the whatever the next generation of consoles is, will be able to fix this. But back to Battlefield, I'm excited to play, and I think Battlefield has always had like a level of realism to me, and the that Call of Duty always lacked, if that makes sense. But um, yeah, I hope they do well, and I know they promised, or not promised, but they're gonna put out a battle royale mode, and we'll see how that holds up. Because the real question here is, how soon are people gonna get tired of Call of Duty and go back to Fortnite, or are those players gonna maybe check out Battlefield before they go back to Fortnite?
Or will they go ahead and go over to Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76? There's so many choices right now, it makes it hard for Battlefield 5 as it steps into the marketplace.
Yeah, this is also true. There's a yeah, and we face that issue every holiday season though. Like what games are we gonna play? There's so many out. And like this just happens to be like the season of holiday games. Not holiday games, but multiplayer games. So that's interesting. So what I want to know really is when all the smoke clears, all the release dust clears, what game is it that players are going to be flocking back to?
Well, Battlefield 5, like I said, did not come out this time around with what people are calling a stellar campaign. Unfortunately, it's fair to good seems to be the theme of the day here when it comes to what's going on with what is being reviewed out there, whatnot. It just does not seem to be the magic elixir this time around that needs to propel them beyond what Call of Duty can do. And plus also the fact that Call of Duty has already gained quite a bit of momentum in the past few weeks. No, it has not passed some of its predecessors as far as Call of Duty when it comes to sales, but it's still doing pretty good, and the reviews for it are pretty good as well. At this point in time, I'd say the reviews are more favorable for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 than the Battlefield 5 experience to this date. Hopefully that will change if you're a Battlefield fan, and hopefully the word of mouth will spread wide and actually give EA a better chance with Battlefield than it's had in the past with other versions. Although I thought Battlefield 1 was probably the best opportunity in recent times to surpass Call of Duty, and it just didn't quite make the mustard, although it came as probably close to it as any Battlefield edition has. Maybe since Battlefield 3, I'm not quite sure if you want to rate that, but for me, Battlefield 3 was the highest point of the Battlefield series. Your thoughts on Battlefield, if it can actually ever surpass Call of Duty at any point in time, especially the fact they don't come out every year with a new Battlefield.
I think that's a good thing though, because it shows that they probably put a little more effort into it. They spent some more time. The dev cycle is a bit longer, so they got to put a little more care and a little more TLC into it.
Well, Call of Duty, remember, has 3 different studios working always on 3 different Call of Duty projects.
Right, but there's always that rush. Got to get it out. Got to get it out. Got to make the sales. Got to get the quarter one or whatever it is. And that's an unhealthy thing to me. Like that just shows there's not a lot of care put into the game because it's all about that deadline. Whereas, one of the reasons that people are probably liking, in my opinion, Red Dead so much is because the game got pushed back several times, right? So it's one of those things where do you want to have that annual cycle and then meet those quarter sales or whatever? Or do you want to put something out that people are actually going to enjoy? And I think that Battlefield does a better job of putting out a quality product than Call of Duty does because there's as much as like people love Call of Duty, let's face it, not a lot changes in Call of Duty. You always the multiplayer is all more or less the same. Yeah, the story changes a little bit, but there's nothing like visually that really changes and blows you away each time a new Call of Duty comes out. It's based on Call of Duty's reviews are based on is it fun or is it not? Whereas Battlefield has a lot more to critique, like the story, the social themes, the multiplayer modes. Like there's a lot of pieces, a lot of cogs in the Battlefield machine, and because of that, Battlefield has more to critique than Call of Duty does.
That's true. It does seem to be a little bit more diverse in its variety than the Call of Duty, which just has a straightforward, at this point in time, the multiplayer, the battle royale, and the zombie, and that's what they've been doing now. Battle royale has been and with the battle royale replacing the campaign mode, it seems to be less of an experience. If you're just someone that's randomly going to go out there and play the game, you always have to have either a team or you have to always go into a multiplayer environment when it comes to Call of Duty. With Battlefield, it doesn't necessarily have to be the case because they do have campaigns which to many are still compelling each and every time they come out. So for people out there that enjoy those type of war situations, Battlefield 5 is heading to is going to be is out in the marketplace this weekend. Looking forward to some more great thoughts from you on the Battlefield series. Will it beat the Call of Duty series this time around? I don't think so. I don't think it has enough mojo going into it. If it had had that type of mojo where it was getting the hot reviews and comparatively speaking to Red Dead Redemption 2 or God of War earlier this year, I would think that it would definitely have a fair shot at going ahead and surpassing the Call of Duty series this year. But unfortunately, because of the fact that it's not getting that top of the line scores from every outlet that's out there, I think that, again, it's going to be another situation where Battlefield is looking up at Call of Duty. Your thoughts out there on Battlefield 5? Are you planning to play it? Have you been playing it already? Need to know your thoughts on it. Is it something that's going to add a positive to the Battlefield experience? Are you excited for the Battle Royale mode that Battlefield's going to add sometime in the near future? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, popculturecosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. And let us also know if you think that at some point in time, if Battlefield will actually finally surpass Call of Duty in the video game marketplace. Coming up next, we've got Rob McCallum in the middle of the Cosmic Crossfire. Coming up next, we've got Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast. He's going to share his thoughts on Week 12 in the NFL. And then after that, we've got after that we're going to close out the show with our thoughts on the legacy of Stan Lee. This is the PCC Multiverse. And we're back to close out the show. Want to thank Tyler Baker from the Fantasy Football Pater podcast and Rob McCallum from Rob McCallum Films. Truly appreciate them both for being on the show. Check out their full episodes of the Cosmic Crossfire and the Fantasy Football Pater podcast on the Pop Culture Cosmos channel every time that they go on the air on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on over 30 different podcast outlets. My friend, it was a truly sad week this week in pop culture. Yes, I understand Roy Clark passed away, and obviously fans of hee haw and country music are just truly devastated by his loss, by his passing. But there was an even greater worldwide reaction to a terrible death of someone that is very much beloved, especially by those of comic book fans, and now everybody that has become familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is Stan Lee, who passed away this week at 95. In fact, it just came out just after our show air. In fact, he just passed before our show, just after our Pop Culture Cosmos show hit the air. Your thoughts on the legacy of Stan Lee? I mean, his contributions to the medium and also the realm of pop culture cannot be underestimated. Yes, I know there's still a lot of back and forth this week. I hear and read a lot of opinions and thoughts on how Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and some others deserve quite a place in history. And I'm not going to dispute that. They all deserve a great place in our hearts when it comes to comic book culture, but Stan Lee, whether you want to say he wanted the fame or he wanted the love and adoration, regardless, his place in pop culture is cemented, and his loss will truly be affected by us for some time to come.
Yeah, it's weird because that day that it happened, kind of just like snuck into the news, because we were already kind of mostly through the day when that popped up. But yeah, no, and I was getting all throughout the rest of the day, I was getting text messages from people asking me what I thought. Like, dude, it's so sad. But yeah, it's sad. And I would even argue the fact that he has done more to inspire the imagination of millions than even Walt Disney. Um, but he was 95, he had a good life. That was a good life. He had a good full life, and he inspired so many people. And whether yeah, and I was hearing a lot, reading up a lot on the controversy with like Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, so on and so forth. But all those guys, they get the recognition, they get it. And the fact that we're arguing over this posthumously when they weren't even arguing over it themselves is just goes to show it's like we want to fill our news feeds with relevance, right? We want to create a conversation that's going to cause controversy, and that's stupid. Let's just let and it irked me even more when I was going online and seeing everyone using Stan Lee quotes to promote social political agendas. And I'm just let the man rest, let him have his legacy. He's a good dude, touched the hearts of so many people. Let's not use him for our own gain. Let's not drag him through the mud because we're uncomfortable with our own opinions. Let's just let him have his thing, let him have his place in history. He Maybe he didn't make as many characters as everyone thinks, but like he made Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is like the quintessential superhero. So
Well, it was actually decided in a court of law earlier this decade that he co-created Spider-Man.
'cause he okay, well, I know he wrote a lot of those issues, didn't he? Like he was
Yeah, he wrote a lot of the issues, and obviously he helped develop Black Panther. I mean, the list goes on and on as far as the characters.
If I remember.
What? Oh,
Wasn't
say again. I'm sorry.
Doctor Strange was one of them, or was that
Doctor Strange, just a ton of characters that he actually either developed himself or co-developed. And to me, that seems to me like the best part of what he did was just coming up with those characters and those stories that he was a great part of. Yes, a lot of people were helping develop those characters from the point that he went ahead and helped with the creation of them. But you know, it's just there's a reason why he was in all those Marvel movies. There's
right?
a reason why he was the head of Marvel Comics. There's a reason why he was so beloved, whether you want to say he was going ahead and just reaching for the adoration or reaching for all that fandom, and the others didn't want that type of limelight. Regardless, there's a reason why he was out there, and that's because he made his mark in the comic book industry. He deserves a ton of credit for doing so. And people that are trying to diminish his legacy because of it, they've got to really look in the mirror, because Stan Lee was a great part and probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest part of the comic book genre, and will probably always be thought of as at least by the general audience out there, as the most identifiable individual when it comes to the comic book world, and also one of the largest and most well-known names in the world of pop culture.
Well, here's another thing too. Whether or not he's like solely responsible for a lot of these heroes, he did so much to promote that brand. Though he promoted everything, even the characters that he didn't have a huge part in creating. Did a lot to promote them and get more eyes on comic books. So like it doesn't. I mean, creatively, maybe there's some controversy there, but you can't argue his presence in marketing and like just the way that he is like you got more eyes on comic books and Marvel and just that kind of thing in general. Like he he did it, man, and that's like we need. And the thing is that we're creating arguments that, like I mentioned earlier, he wasn't even arguing about. And that's what that's the thing that kind of makes this whole situation sad. But again, he lived to be 95. He had a good life. And, it sounds like he was being taken advantage of as, in the final days. If you heard all the stuff about the, with his kids and the, whatever happened in the, was it like a nursing home or something? He was,
Well, no, it's just as far as his care.
yeah,
There
his
was
care. Yeah, that's what I was.
neglect. There was neglect issues that actually went to court proceedings, and whether it was the son or what have you that was accused of any wrongdoing. That it went to a level that it did not need to go to. It was very surprising that he would be treated in such an ill manner, especially in his latter years and in his latter days. That it was unfortunate that Disney and Marvel didn't do more to try to protect him and wasn't aware of what was going on, which was really a shame. That a lot of people, because they saw and took, they maybe, who knows, maybe he was really pushed to go to all those Comic-Cons and whatnot, conventions later in life, that he may have been not feeling well enough for or tired to, but maybe it was somebody else's agenda to go ahead and keep pushing him to one more con and one more con. But maybe it was also his love for the fans as well, because a posthumous message was sent out there, a video after his death, and with his own words saying how much he loved the adoration of the fans and how much it brought joy to him, just as much as his work brought joy to all the fans out there as well.
Right, right. And it just, he wasn't my father, but it still like hurt me to read those things about him. So he's kind of, that just goes to show he does have a special place in my heart, man. Always will. So rest in peace, Stan.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. His legacy should not be underestimated. His legacy should never be diminished. And to me as well, that I think that his work is undeniable in the fact that it means so much to our culture, it means so much to our society, and it means so much to many of us who always want to be a superhero ourselves. Yes, definitely. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. Rest in peace. And just wish you all the best out there. And just wish you all the best. And rest in peace, Stan Lee. Just truly truly want to thank you for everything that you've done for pop culture. What are your thoughts out there on Stan Lee's passing? Is he truly, in your mind, one of the icons of pop culture with his work within the comic book realm? We'd love to hear your thoughts, both one way or the other, just on the subject. Just cannot thank him enough for all of his contributions. And would you like to go ahead as well and say your thoughts on his work, or would you like to go ahead and recognize Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, or anyone else in the comic book realm? Share us your thoughts, popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanica Media, and Game Source on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Any last thoughts on the way out, my friend? It's been another great episode, and we've got another great weekend coming up in pop culture.
Yeah, it just broke in the news that Sony will not be at E3 2019.
My gosh, are we going to be up to? I'm going to have to cover that this week. I'm going to have to cover more on that on our Monday episode. That's something that's very surprising because Sony has been such a great part of E3 with its extravagant layouts, and obviously it's filling up arenas with its press conferences and their major floor displays. So there's something behind the scenes there that's really making it troublesome for me, and that just means like more. It just means that a PlayStation experience is probably going to be soon around the corner as well.
But I mean, do you think this also might be signaling something, some internal issue? I mean, this is another topic for another time. But also, like, remember they canceled PAX this year too, so it just makes me wonder, like, what's going on here.
I think it could be just as much as E3's issue with what they're asking for behind the scenes, as much as what Sony wants to do as far as continuing their thoughts and their presence at E3 as well.
Right. Well, I'll be curious to know more about this in the following days.
Absolutely. And we'll go ahead and be able to report it on for you on our Pop Culture Cosmos and Game Source Facebook sites as well. And one last thought. Oh, excuse me. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself an Excelsior day.